Alright, let's continue with variable naming rules. Like in most programming languages, PL/SQL has some rules and restrictions for the naming of variables. If you don't obey these rules, you will have a compilation error and your program will not run. Let's see what these rules are. It must start with a letter. You cannot start with a number or special characters, etc. But you can use these letters after the first character. There is no problem in here. Can contain special characters like $, underscore, etc. But these characters cannot be the first character. Your variable names can be maximum 30 characters. As we know from SQL, column names can be maximum 30 characters. Actually, every variable in PL/SQL are designed considering the Oracle SQL database. So many things will be similar or identical. So this will be a great ease for the students who knows SQL already. I think you all know SQL. Otherwise, it will be hard to understand because they work together so many times. If you don't know SQL, I recommend you to learn SQL first to understand PL/SQL better. Your variables cannot have the same name with Oracle's reserved words like select, varchar2, varclass, etc. Okay, that's all. You don't have so much rules for naming the variables, but this is not the end. There is something that we need to know about naming PL/SQL. This is naming conventions. So why naming conventions? Most of the times, especially if you work with PL/SQL, programmers work together. That means you will have to read and modify your friend's code so many times. And they have to do that to your code too. If programmers use their own style of naming, it will be hard to maintain for their friends. Actually, not only the friends, but also the programmers itself. If you have to modify the code that you have written last year, you will not remember so easily. So you must have some conventions about naming your variables, types, exceptions, etc. Now, I will show you some of my recommendations. You can have your conventions. If your company has its own conventions, you should obey that. So let me show you some of them now. The rest will be shown in its own lectures, so no need to show all of them for now. So let's start with the variable first. We write v underscore variable name. We start with v and write our name with underscore for every word. For example, v underscore max underscore salary. Let's continue with cursors. You can use either c underscore cursor underscore name or cur underscore cursor underscore name. It depends on you. Oracle says that use c underscore for constants. But I think you will use cursors much more than the constants. I would prefer the shorter one for cursors. I will use c underscore in my courses, but you can use cur underscore, it's up to you. And exception, we use e underscore exception name, for example, e underscore invalid salary. And procedure, p procedure name, for example, p underscore calculate salary. Actually, Oracle says that p underscore for procedures and functions. I will prefer to use f underscore for functions. They used f underscore for file handlers, but I use functions much more times than the file handlers. So I will use p underscore for procedures and f underscore for functions. And the bind variable. Use b underscore bind name for bind variables. For example, b underscore amp underscore id. There are more for naming conventions, but we have not covered them yet. So these are enough for now. The rest will be shown while this lecture is being taught. So this is the end of the lecture. See you in our next lesson.